Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you all for coming. So one of the things I would like to start off today is when we leave the body aside in this lifetime, okay, we kind of go through the portal and we go back into the spiritual universe. And one of the first tasks in the spiritual universe that we're going to be asked 3 questions. Okay, do any of you know this? Gillies, do you know this? No? Right?
He's
you
heard
know
it before.
Yeah.
What did John?
Right? And the 3 questions are this. And what this really is about, it's really about how do you see life and how do you see wealth in life. Okay? So the first question that you're going to be asked is, how much wealth did you accumulate? The second question is, how did you accumulate your wealth? And the third question is, how much did you bring with you? So Elish, would you like to answer those?
Okay. How much wealth did I accumulate? That's how much love I built up and how much forgiveness I done. How did I accumulate it with the tools? And how much did I bring with me? Well, whatever I've done. All of it.
What you have given away.
Yeah.
That's very, very good. Most people, when they see this, first of all, this is really, you know, what Jesus says in the Course is where your treasure is, that's where your home. So the last time we did this at the teacher's course, a person went, none, none, and none. You know, because you can look at this and it's how you define wealth. What is wealth? Is how you're going to answer this question. And that's the purpose of your life here. You can basically have a life that is materialistic, which is external to you, or you can have a life where now what you give, your wealth becomes what you do for other people. So in the Course, this is called the Holy Instant. Every time that you practice a forgiveness lesson, okay, that's a holy instant, because you're choosing heaven over hell. Okay? You're choosing truth over illusions. You're choosing God over the ego. You're choosing oneness over separation. That's wealth. Okay? And what you do for another is what you do for yourself. And that's wealth. Okay? So every forgiveness lesson, like Jesus says in the Course, that all your holy instants are kept for you and they're presented to you in the spiritual universe. So that means how much did you bring with you? Okay, is what you give to other people is what you bring with you. The holy instant. Okay? And there's only one definition of love. What is it? Yeah. Why is forgiveness? The Course says that forgiveness is the reflection of the love of heaven. Why?
Because you're seeing them as they truly are and yourself as you truly are.
Right? Because forgiveness is unconditional. And all true love is unconditional. Forgiveness is complete. It must be for everybody. Okay? Whereas love in this world, like Jesus says in the Course, there's no love in this world without ambivalence. That means there's no love without hate. Okay? I will love you provided that you love me the way I want you to love me. And I'll love you the way that you want. And we have this agreement where all of these conditions are put onto love. And that's not what love is. Love has to be unconditional, and that means there's no demands, there's no expectations, there's no needs, and there's no desires. Okay, so let's look at this. How much wealth have you accumulated? Basically, wealth is defined as forgiveness, as love, as unconditional giving to another. That's what wealth is. How did you accumulate your wealth? Basically in the practice of forgiveness. There's no higher degree of wealth in this world than forgiveness. And how much did you bring with you? That's your holy instance. Okay, so these are the 3 questions that you're going to be asked when you basically return back to the spiritual universe. So this is how you calculate how you have lived your life. And it's how you answer these questions when you go back there is what happens next. So the second stage, there's actually 3 stages that you go through when you go back into the spiritual universe. So this is what you would call stage 1. Okay? Stage 2 is called, anybody?
Script. Review.
Okay, this is your life review. And you'll have read in many spiritual books about the life review. And this is where you go now and you look at basically your life. And it'll be all shown to you. And in your life review, you will see all of the lessons that you learned or you failed to learn. Okay? You will see all the past errors that you have made, and you will see all your past corrections that you've made. So what this is really saying is how you answer the questions in stage 1 will determine your life review in stage 2. Okay? So, what is a life review? And when should you do the life review? These are the 2 questions you should be asking. And those of you who have been coming to me here for a number of years, when do you do your life review? No. Every night. Okay? Because it's basically your life review should be looked at every single day. Instead of you waiting to get to the stage where you're back in the spiritual universe and you're looking at your whole life and you're seeing the whole thing compounded where you can do nothing about it. Okay? So your life review, what I've been teaching for the last number of years, is something that should be done every single night. And that means you look back on your day and you look at any errors, you look at any mistakes that you made in your day, and you basically do the correction for these mistakes and these errors. And that means that you're always on top of your game. Okay? So, if you're doing your life review every single day, this is not going to be a painful process at this stage. Because here, when you do your life review, you feel everything that you have given to everybody else, all in one go. Alright? So that means if you've hurt someone else, you will actually feel that pain that you have caused that person. Okay? And these are basically...
You couldn't cause somebody else pain.
Huh?
I thought you couldn't cause somebody else pain.
Of course, but this is the belief that we're in.
Alright.
You know, as long as you believe that you hurt someone else, this is the unconscious state of mind that we're all in. When you waken up, you're going to see the truth that you can't hurt other people. But let's say you haven't done a life review. Okay, you're not doing this work. When you go back into the spiritual universe, you're waking up very, very, briefly. And in that brief awakening, you see the truth of everything. Okay? And you see, because you believe that you have hurt other people and other people have hurt you. You see, you can't avoid, if you believe someone has hurt you, then you can't escape the belief that you have hurt other people. Because both are the same. Okay? So as long as you believe that someone has hurt me, then you're also going to believe that you've hurt someone else. And this is what you're feeling all the time. Because what you're really feeling is your own pain. Ultimately in this. So it's not that you're actually feeling the other person, because we're all one. So actually when you hurt someone else, you're actually hurting yourself at a different point of your own life, and you're feeling that pain. But what we do, or what the ego does, now blame someone else for this hurt. We feel the victim. But we don't realize that we have hurt ourselves by hurting this other person. Time's an illusion. So it means you could hurt someone today and kind of not deal with that. And then next week, you could feel very depressed, you could feel very hurt, you could feel very down, And all of a sudden you'll go, who done this to me? And you'll pick out someone that you probably had an argument with or whatever. But you don't realize that this is coming from your own projection that you did the week before that. So that's what I mean when you've hurt someone. Okay? All hurt is self-hurt at the end of the day. So your life review here is something that should be done every night. Okay? And then what happens there is you move to stage 3. Okay? And stage 3 is the script. And this is where we basically sit down now and we write a new script. We write a new life. Okay? And our new life is going to be basically written on how we answer these 3 questions. It's going to be written on the basis of our life review, on the lessons that we learned or didn't learn. Okay? So the first 2 stages is going to determine what the 3rd stage is. Okay? And that means what you're going to do now is you're going to have a script that if there was lessons that you didn't learn here, you're going to look at it and you're going to re-emphasize those lessons and make sure that you learn them here. So we're always kind of, every lifetime we're always growing. Okay? We're always growing spiritually taller, as it said. And that means, that we're always learning by our past errors. And lessons will keep repeated over and over again until they're learned. You can't escape your lessons. So that is one thing, if there's a pattern in your life that something is coming up and it keeps coming up over and over again, it's simply a lesson that you're not learning or you're refusing to learn or you're not ready to learn. Okay, so those are the 3 stages that you will go through. Everybody goes through these 3 stages when they go back into the spiritual universe. So any questions on that?
I presume you do the script then with other people who play those roles.
Of course. There's usually 24 people in your soul group. Okay? And remember that your spiritual self is basically in your body self, okay? But your spiritual self never leaves the spiritual universe. When head falls asleep there, okay, it's asleep inside you here. So what wakens here? When you're born into the body, what is it that wakens here? If it's not your spiritual self.
Ego?
Yeah, there's another name for it.
Observer?
Soul.
No, the observer is your higher self, which is above your spiritual self. When you're writing the script, okay, the one thing that you choose above everything else is a personality. Okay, so you say, this is the personality that I'm going to choose, and the reason why you would choose that personality is to fit in with the lessons that you want to learn. Yeah? So let's say that you wanted to basically say, I want to waken up in this lifetime. So you would choose a personality that would be very akin to waking up. So you would say an introvert. Okay? You could choose someone who's open. You could choose someone who's agreeable. So you'll sit down and say, right, I'm going to write a life or a script in this lifetime where I'm going to awaken. So therefore, I'm going to choose a personality that's going to help me to waken up. So let's say you're not going to choose an extrovert. Why? Because the extrovert loves the world and wants the world to love them. No, they're making the world real all the time. Okay? Someone who, say if you choose a disagreeable, why would you not choose a disagreeable? Because you're disagreeing with a lot of people. You're separating yourself. The agreeable personality is the type of personality, okay, I can work with you. A part of waking up is a joining, an unconditional joining with everybody. That's why the agreeable personality is a good personality to basically help you to waken up.
Just in terms of what you said about introvert, extrovert, so does the extrovert not want to wake up?
Well,
So
it's
you
not
choose
designed to waken up.
So, but if you choose that personality,
Yeah.
then you're not going to waken up.
It's a good possibility that you will be choosing a life where you're not going to waken up.
And can you change that script? And
Oh.
can you change?
I came into the world as an extrovert.
Did you?
Yeah. And then I got everything taken away from me and I was actually forced into becoming an introvert. And that wouldn't have happened to me. I could never have woken up as an extrovert. Because basically I wanted to be the center of attention. I wanted the limelight. I wanted the attention. I wanted all the, all the things, all the material things in the world, the car, the money, the drugs, everything like it, And got it all too.
So if you wrote a script to be an extrovert, presumably that was so as that you wouldn't waken up. So what made the decision to waken up?
Exactly, because I was not a student of A Course in Miracles. Okay? So how did I do the course? How did I waken up? Basically, I woke up through the dark night of the soul, which means where basically you design a script where you have no kind of release at all, where you have the build-up of pain. So extrovert was very important to me. So I had loads of family, I had loads of friends, I had loads of attachments, I had loads of, special relationships, you want to call them. And everything was taken away from me, which was really painful.
And was that scripted?
Yes. And it was scripted for me to waken up. That's how I was basically able to surrender.
Okay.
So you could look at the course and you could see the course. The course is a step-by-step process of letting go, of surrender. So it means that, you'll let go, you'll surrender as much as you want to at any given time. Whereas my script, I was in the dark night of the soul, which meant that I built up all of this pain in one go. And because I wasn't into spirituality or religion or anything else, the build-up was like an elastic band. And when it got to a certain point, it broke, snapped. And that's where the release came, and that's why I had such a profound awakening experience like that. If I had been practicing forgiveness or something else, I wouldn't have been able to build that amount of pain into one place. Because what Jesus says in the Course is God placed a limit on our ability to miscreate. It means that we have a tolerance for so much pain. And when we reach that tolerance, we are going to surrender. We're going to let it go. Because pain is the motivation for looking for another way. If you're here in the world and everything's going great, you're not worried about forgiveness. You're out having a great time. It's only when things seem to go wrong here that we turn inside and we look, there has to be another way. So my script called for me to actually do the course in another way rather than do the course as a step-by-step. My script called for me to let the whole lot go in one block. And that basically involves an awful lot of pain, and it usually involves the wish to die. And I wanted to die. It's the willingness to die. Michael?
How long were you non-functional? Because people that I have seen that go through this experience, they've got some period of time that they're non-functional.
Yeah,
what we call
10 years. I was 10 years. And it seemed like 1,000 years, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
It was most profound darkness, isolation, loneliness, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And this is one of the reasons why the Course has come to the world the way the Course has come to the world, because everybody has woken up to this point in the world over the last 2 centuries, you could say, have woke up through the dark night of the soul. So the Course is another way to waken up. Because a lot of people who choose that other way of waking up don't make it. It's fraught with a lot of dangers. Because when I look back on my script, I see everything was perfect. Everything was perfect. And I was really lucky that everything worked out the way it did, So this is what it's all about. So here you're going to write your script, you're going to choose a personality, you're going to choose... I've done a video on the script, so anybody that's watching this on video can go to the script video. But basically that's the process in, when you leave the body aside, that's the 3 stages that you're going to go through. Okay?